What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Charlie here. I know you're used to the Driving with Dave Duran segment that we've been doing, so I thought it would be pretty interesting to do a Flyin with your boy Charlie. So right now, I am sitting in Newark Airport. Delayed flight, headed to Logan International, headed to Boston on a business trip. I know you guys are just so used to seeing me in wrestling t-shirts, but I actually do get dressed up from time to time when I gotta go to work. So that said, just wanted to give you a few thoughts that I have in my head this morning. I watched Smackdown 1000 last night. A couple of really interesting things there. The first one, and again, as I've always promised, this will not be a review, just some interesting thoughts and things that were set up from the 1000th episode of the Blue Brand. The first thing that I want to point out is the Evolution return. First, from a merchandise perspective, hope they make that t-shirt Trips was wearing available. Would be a pretty nice, sweet shirt to add to the collection. But more so than anything, there have been rumors for quite some time that Batista would be making a return. He wanted one last run. He wasn't happy with the one that he had previously done. What's interesting there to point out is he had said if he made a return, he would come back as a heel. His reaction last night was actually a massive pop. Now, granted, he was in his hometown, so I don't know if that is something that will be sustainable. I don't know who would be the face and who would be the heel heading into this feud, but each of them cut an interesting promo. You had Randy Orton, who was playing off his heel persona that he's been cultivating or returning to over the past couple episodes. You had Ric Flair doing a whole lot of wooing and tapping his shoulders and being the nature boy. And then you also had Trips, who really didn't say much, but he gave the little bit of an intro to the rest of the squad. He's there all the time, so he doesn't need to do anything. And then they hand it to Batista, who was ultimately incredibly happy to be back in a WWE ring. I mean, you're talking about a guy, Orton put it best, this is a guy who spent more time in a makeup chair than a ring over the past couple of years, but he's also probably the biggest star in WWE outside of The Rock and moving up Cena too. So, he was excited to be back in the ring. He said how much he loves the fans, which leads me to believe he actually might be the face heading into a feud against Triple H. And what happened was he talked about each individual superstar. So obviously he gave his accolades to Ric Flair, which the funniest part of that line was they were talking about secret stories that haven't been told, and he told Flair to keep it in his pants. It was pretty interesting. He commented on Randy Orton, gave Randy Orton all the props and credit that Orton deserved, and then he turns to Triple H and says that Triple H is the industry, he's the game, gives him his due credit, and then said he's accomplished everything that there is to accomplish except beating him. So that they're absolutely headed towards some sort of match between Triple H and Batista. My guess it'll probably be at WrestleMania. Give Batista one last run, the run that he was looking for last time. I think he's wanted to face Trips. And honestly, the way that WWE's heading, they don't pair young talent typically with these returning legends unless the legend's going to be full-time. So my guess here is that at the end of the day, you're going to see Trips versus Batista at WrestleMania. Trips will continue the lacing up the boots, even though he's an executive, because the main roster needs him. Another thing to point out was the feud between Charlotte and Becky was furthered. Not that it needed much more furthering, but they used Edge as the centerpiece to talk about, the ultimate opportunist, Becky now following similar in line. So that was pretty interesting to begin with, to integrate Edge into that feud. Of course, you had Rey Mysterio return. He battled Shinsuke Nakamura. Great to see Rey back. Curious to see how WWE will use him. It's obvious they're not going to send him to 205 Live. So, with Hardy kind of being in and out, I could see him taking that, not first role, not second role, but maybe tertiary face role on SmackDown, sitting somewhere between after Styles and Bryan, which, by the way, they took a pinfall loss yesterday, as they should have, versus the Usos. You've got new tag champs in the bar with the help of Big Show. Man, Big Show flips more times than a politician. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's hilarious. So overall, Smackdown 1000, of course, you're The Undertaker. So overall, Smackdown 1000, really good nostalgia act. Some interesting pieces of action that occurred. Anytime the New Day and Bar light it up, that's amazing. Bryan Styles in the same ring versus the Usos, that's a good match. You can't really ask for much. So overall, I'd say SmackDown 1000 was good. Now, just moving to Monday Night Raw a little bit. Again, not a review. I got to give it to Ronda Rousey. And, you know, she gets a lot of criticism. Dave. She gets a lot of criticism for, you know, her work, just doing judo flips, kicks, and her promo work obviously has been suspect up to this point. But, you know, man, that was fire against Brie Bella. I realize it's scripted. I realize that, you know, at the end of the day, she, you know, is new to all this, but this feud between Rousey and Bella makes a lot more sense than I initially had thought it would. They're adding a lot of nice venom to it, which I think is really cool. So, again, props to WWE for that one script. I'll give creative credit for once in their lives, and say that this feud is better than anticipated and better than expected. Another thing that excited me about Raw at the end of the day was, you know, this Dean Ambrose situation is outrageous. Now, you guys saw me do a full video on Ambrose. The situation has continued to progress. At the end of the day, I just want to see where it's going to end up. I want to see, is, you know, he going to leave the Shield? Is he just going to turn his back on them outright? Is he, you know, I don't know. I really don't. They made it seem like at the end everything was all hunky-dory and the three brothers were hugging and the Dogs of War were actually in a bad spot, but who knows. I think the last thing that I want to cover, and we're going to be covering this at length in our filming session on Wednesday, but I just wanted to touch on it. You know, there is a lot going on with the Boys in the Elite, and there's a major philosophical question that needs to be answered. They are overhyping this whole, you know, are they leaving, are they staying, the TikTok scenes. You've got Tama basically wishing them good luck in WWE, like goodbye to you, which was pretty interesting and pretty funny at the same time. As David pointed out, I kind of went at Tama, and Nick liked it, Matt liked it, Papa Buck liked it, and Tama had nothing to say, so you schooled, son. I also figured out a mathematical equation for Tama Tonga, which is, and I like Tama Tonga, so this isn't a knock on him, but if you take Dave Chappelle and pair him with Roman Reigns, you get Tama Tonga. End of the day here, and I'll save most of my thoughts for that conversation, but talking to Dave, talking to everybody else, I think they're headed to WWE. They're launching one more set of shirts as a cash cow. Get those Bullet Club brands out there. There's no other reason for them to drop Bullet Club. They could have stayed Bullet Club Elite. Probably would have been more lucrative for Japan just because of the notoriety already tied to Bullet Club. They're building their own brand because they can take that brand with them. So it's going to be an interesting few months. And with that, we're going to have a bunch of more recording sessions coming to you this week. I am sitting down with Dave. I told you earlier, I'm on my way to Boston. I'm on my way to Logan. My flight is delayed. What else is new? Hope I make my first sales meeting on time. I've been up since 3 a.m. I'm like shot, guys. So, you know, we're going to record a couple of different episodes. I'm going to launch this today. If you guys have any things that you would like us to discuss, please let me know in the comments below to this video. I look forward to speaking with you then. Charlie's going to be running around ragged. Sorry to talk in third person, but I'm going to be running ragged the next couple days. So looking forward to the recording sessions. Looking forward to giving you guys a little bit more insight. As always, you need anything, let us know from a conversation perspective. This is your boy Charlie signing out and looking forward to catching you on the flip side. Have a great one. Bye.